Olá pessoal, boa tarde. Nós estamos mais um episódio do Cast for Closer, seu podcast para dominar inside sales e colocar suas metas no bolso. O tema de hoje é vendas para SaaS numa nova era, SaaS Sales in a New Era. E a gente trouxe um especialista mundial já, muito acompanhado por nós aqui no blog da Meetime, Jacco vanderKooij. Ele é Sales Architect na Storm Ventures, fundador da Winning by Design e autor do best-seller Blueprints for SaaS Sales Organization. Jacco, it's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast.
Yeah. I was talking to my partner also, Diego. We were trying to save time and bring you a lot of time ago. And we are very fortunate to have you here. Thanks for saving this time. We separated a few questions for you. And let's jump into it.
First and foremost, thank you for having me. I know that there's a big following in Brazil, and I'm just, very blessed to be on the podcast with you. And how can I help you?
Yes. First, let us say we use your book as really a blueprint for our SaaS sales process and our sales organization today. And in the beginning of the book, you mentioned a gap between the buying experience from B2C and B2B companies. Like when you buy a product from Amazon as a final customer, and you have this great experience like Amazon Dash button and all the stuff these guys are bringing today. And we see this gap growing lately from B2B companies, like some tools you don't even have the chance to engage in a trial. Can you give us some examples of, can you comment more on this gap between B2C and B2B buying experience? And can you give us maybe some examples of B2B companies that are doing great in this field?
Yeah, more than welcome to. So when we look at traditional B2C companies, good B2C companies such as an Amazon, they embrace to make the customer successful. And a great example of that is that if you don't like it, you can return the book within 30 days. Now, yes. What we see is the gap between B2B companies and B2B that has been growing is because primarily B2B companies have not been focused on customer success. Their primary goal has been sell, get to sign on a dotted line. That is changing. Companies have to learn not how to sell, but how to assist the buyer to buy the solution.
Yes, it makes perfectly sense. One phrase we always remember from your book is that success in SaaS depends on having a carefully designed, customer-centric sales organization. Now, what would be the pillars of such an organization? Can you comment more on that?
Sure. So when we build an organization, or the reason why we need to design an organization today is because it is a radical change. We made a pivot from making it a sales-centric organization into be customer-centric. If we want to be customer-centric, we need to think on their time, making their solution our goal. Now, a great example to follow up on your previous question is if you think companies that are out there are like custom ink, or you can custom order your own t-shirts. If you think about GoDaddy, who are calling you up to make sure to remind you that you're overpaying for your current service and that there's an opportunity to have a cheaper service actually, right? These are companies that customer success first, and as a result, they are achieving financial results. So that's a pivoting point. That requires a strong change of opinion. Now, or change of direction. In order to do that, you cannot just go overnight and say, I'm going to be customer centric. And so what I found is that there are 6 key elements. Element number 1, you gotta have a customer-centric process. You gotta have a process that listens to the customer, listens to who they are, what we call ideal customer profiles, understand the journey that they're taking, and understand what success to them means. That's step number 1, have a customer-centric process. Step number 2, you gotta, in today's world, make that process powered by tools. The tools are a critical factor in order to make that process go better. Step number 3, we have to have content. Customers are not looking for facts and features. They're looking for insights. They're looking for content that relays those insights. a blog post, a point of view, a use case of a customer. Content really makes a true sales operation. It's like the oil in the engine. Now, all that needs to be combined by a fourth element, which is skills. I need to be able to have the skills to execute the process, to leverage these exciting tools that we have today, and to use insights and content within that. That brings us to element number 5. How am I going to structure my team? Well, we went from a very decentralized structure where salespeople were in cities very close to the customer, to a very centralized structure. That is a different organizational structure. And the last piece number 6, is this all needs to be data-driven. Now that tells those 6 elements tells us what we need. We need a process, we need a tool stack, we need a content map, we need a skill map that identifies the people that helps us recruit, hire, and onboard the people in order to execute this. We need a modern organizational structure, which we call a pod structure, and we need to have a clear-cut data model on what we are measuring and how we're doing it.
Yes, very, very nice pillars. To comment on that, in our audience, we talk to our prospects here in Brazil and clients and every prospect. We see a trend here. People are transitioning from sales-oriented process to customer-oriented process, and this very gap, we feel it's one of the main gaps we have here as a country. If you look at an inside sales perspective. So pillar number 1, I think it's the most critical here. I think we're missing some points on one of them, but I think sales process is the most critical pillar here for Brazil. And talking about our audience, we have plenty of SaaS companies doing like that stage initial traction between 50 and 100 clients. So one of the things we remember from your book is one phrase that scale success, don't scale failure. So when does a SaaS organization know it's time to scale its sales area?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. It's about scaling success and not scaling failure. Let me explain to you what I mean with that.
Yes.
When we are writing today, in order for companies to get to that first 1 million, 2 million, in order to get to that first 100 customers, 200 customers, that by itself is not the goal. If that would be the goal, then there would be lots of companies successful. But many companies struggle when they go from beyond there. What is the goal of reaching the first 50 to 100 customer? What is the goal of reaching that first 1 million to 2 million RRR? Is that you actually learn what works and how you can scale success. If you learned in the first 100 customers which are the right customers and which processes are the right ones, then you scale them up as you get either more funding or as you hire more people, right? That is what you do. But here's what companies do wrong. Here's what they don't get. They are cheating their way to the first 50 to 100 customers. They are cheating it. And here's how they do that, Diego. They are writing master blast campaigns. If, for example, I only get one customer out of every 1,000 emails and I need to get to 100 customers, well, why don't I send 100,000 emails?
Yes.
And so they start sending out 100,000 emails. And what's the problem with that? If you send 100,000 emails and you only get 100 customers, that means that you potentially have torpedoed 99,900 customers in the process. And so when you go to that second phase, you don't scale anymore because now you need 1,000 customers, but you just destroyed on your way to 100, you destroyed your ecosystem, your brand name, because you were carpet bombing, as they say, your customer base with email after email, just in the hope that somebody would respond to your phone call. And as a matter of fact, you haven't scaled success. You simply scaled failure. And so what is so key and important to get, to be successful as a company, to use the road to 50 and 100 customers, to learn what works and what doesn't work, to be okay with failure, to learn from that failure and say, let's not scale that when we get bigger. And let me tell you, having one customer out of 1,000 being successful is not a process that we can scale beyond. That is not a successful thing that we want to scale. Does that help?
Yes, it's very, very helpful. I think learning is the main goal between 50 and 100 clients, right? As you were saying.
That is right. You are learning what works and learning what doesn't work. And I want to make sure that you understand part of learning is failing. You learn as much from failure as you learn from success. And some people may argue that you learn more from failure than from success. But learn from it. It is okay. It is meant to happen in that first 50 to 100 customers. Learn which ones are the right customers. It is okay to lose them if they're the wrong ones. It is okay. What you learn is, okay, we need more of the right customers and less of the bad customers. So why don't we start learning about how to win the right customers?
Yes, and especially the let us say the punishment for bad customers. It comes with incomes later on. So especially for SaaS organizations like us, so learning in this phase is very critical. So one thing we also noticed from this very particular audience we were talking about, is they collect a lot of metrics. They are very data driven. They are educated about this from these years of startup life. You mentioned in your book 3 types of sales data, and let me show. Volume data, like number of marketing qualified leads, sales qualified leads, like volume data. Conversion data, percentage of marketing qualified leads who turn into sales qualified leads. It's an example. And performance data, like length of sales cycle, churn percentages, and so on. If we could indicate and point to our audience, we would choose between volume and conversion data, leaving performance data a little bit aside. So can you comment more on that? Do you see it the same way? Can you walk us into that?
Yeah, sure. So, I'm fortunate to have benefited from an electrical engineering career in telecommunications. And what you learn when you work with electronics is to isolate particular components, to measure what the voltage is, and to measure what the input and output difference is. That too applies essentially in this model. The reason why we need volume data is we need to see trends. Is the trend going up? So if you think about inbound leads, and let's refer to them as MQL, as marketing qualified leads, we need to understand, is it going up or going down? Are web visits up or going down? So that's the first. It gives us a hint at, it gives us an idea if the trend is right. Now, the second thing that we need to do is we need to see if the conversion is right. Are these leads, although we're going up, are those the right kind of leads or are those the wrong kind of leads? One of the metrics that you can use for that is the conversion data. We're looking at the conversion rate of MQL, so to speak, in SQLs and meetings being set. That conversion rate could show, let me give you an example. We could see MQL rates going up and SQL rates going down. That indicates, hey, the trend is up, but the quality is down. What happened? Now, an analysis that you can say is, we just went to a trade show and we got 600 leads because there were bad leads. There were just people that were not really our target audience. Hence, we threw the event at it was the wrong event to throw because they had the wrong target audience there. Leads went up, quality went down. The alternative could also be true. We could see that the inbound leads are going down, whereas the quality is going up. Because today we are looking more at quality of leads. And in that case, I could see that a company could could organize a small gathering of 50 to 60 prospective clients, bring in their existing 2 or 3 clients, have a small gathering, 50 to 60 people. And as an MQL basis, that would only look like, I only have 50 to 60 people attending, right? 50 to 60 MQLs. But yes. Lo and behold, that event may generate 10 leads, 10 serious leads, people who are interested. That means that the conversion rate is extremely high. What would it take if I have a conversion rate of, in this case, 25% out of 40 people attending the event? I got 10 people are becoming a real serious opportunity. That means I got 25% conversion ratio. If I now look back at the traditional conversion ratio of inbound and I say, okay, how many inbound leads do I need in order to cover for that? And some people would argue there's about 5 to 10%. I'm looking at, I need somewhere in the range of 500 to 250 inbound leads to generate the same thing. Well, I can organize an event next week that has 50 people in attendance. In order for me to generate 500 leads next week, I may have to run some serious marketing dollar campaigns or marketing campaigns that's going to cost me some simple dollars. Now, what can I do? Based on these two metrics, I can actually make a proper decision. I'm not saying the marketing event is right or wrong, and I'm not saying we should only do these events. All I'm saying is it should be data-driven decisions.
Yes, make perfect sense, and not one specific metric like conversion or volume or performance, right?
No, that's right. What we want to look at, there's many metrics that go around in this machine. And if we look at only right now volume data and conversion data, this data takes place everywhere. From the SQL, we have a conversion rate to win. From win, we have a conversion rate to onboarding. From a successful onboarded customer, and from an onboarded customer, you have a successful metric that indicates that the customers are buying more services. And like I've been taught properly by Lincoln Murphy from 16 Ventures, we should not just measure on the negative metric in churn down there. That is only a negative mindset. We should absolutely consider when we measure data and results that we should think about positive results, such as upsell and cross-sell.
Yes, very nice. One topic that also fascinates us is technologies for sales, as we are trying to boost our clients' performance as an inside sales software. So, and in your words, top professionals love using top tools. So what do you see as a trend for inside sales softwares, inside sales technology in US or any particular market?
So what we see as a technology trend is the following. Because, like the function that we are looking for is we need more volume. Because SaaS sales, by the nature of it, is a volume-driven business, we need volume leads, we need volume deals. Volume, if we apply humans to it, means I need more people. If I need more people, I need more desks, I need more computers. Costs are going up critically fast, right? With that, client acquisition costs go up. So, in order to control the client acquisition cost, how can we bring it down? Well, we can bring it down by having, instead of 3 SDRs and 5 AEs, what if we could only use 1 SDR per 3 AEs or per 4 or 5 AE account executives? So we now have 1 inbound sales rep developing enough leads for 5 people. What would that particular inbound sales rep need, or that sales development rep need? They would need a tool. Now, there are tools in the market that, in this case, that can help that SDR become way more effective. We call this technology aided. There's a lot of technology aid going on around there for the inside sales and the sales functions. Now, these functions, these tools that we're using, there's one big mistake everyone makes, is they think that by simply buying the tool, everything will be okay. It won't. Yeah. The key that is needed is that when you buy the tool, is that the person who's operating the tool has the skill and is being taught the skill how to operate that tool, right? And it's great when you have a tractor that can dig a trench for you, but what isn't great if the person who's digging the trench has no idea what they're doing and they're completely digging, now they're not only not digging the right trench, they're actually making it worse. And that is what we can see is the counter impact of great tools, is that if the person operating it is not skilled enough, they can actually do damage to it. Yes,
especially because SaaS sales business, they run on transactional models and they need volume, right?
So that they run on, we have multiple SaaS business units. So if you look at that, if we go to the very small market, or if we all the way start at this individual users become groups of users. Groups of users become often, SMBs, small to medium businesses. Small to medium businesses grow up, become to mid-market businesses, and they grow up to become enterprise deals. Across this, these are sizes that SaaS sell to. Transactional means that the transaction that they're selling primarily is a credit card transaction. That's where the word comes from. However, what you can see is that this transactional sale can apply as much to the enterprise, where somebody simply enters a credit card in order to install a Google Chrome plugin service. That is a SaaS transactional sale. However, What is the true definition of SaaS sales is that it adheres to 3 specific parts. Part number 1, it must run in the cloud. Part number 2, it must have a subscription service, either monthly or annually, or consumption-based. And part number 3, it must use a go-to-market strategy that is internet-driven or that's centralized-driven. If you would go to a store to sign up for a subscription service that sits in the cloud, it wouldn't be SaaS. If you would sell something online, but you would sell them a floppy, and you send them a server with a power cord to it, it wouldn't be SaaS. And if you would sell somebody a service and there's only one-time fee, but it is sitting in the cloud and you sell it online, it still isn't SaaS. It has to adhere to all those 3 to make it SaaS. Does that help?
Yeah, sure. Jacco, would you like to leave a final message here for our audience? And please feel free to approach any subject here.
Well, look, I'm passionate about what we're accomplishing in SaaS. The message that I want you to, the reason why I'm so passionate about SaaS and the reason why I went into this is because for me, it allowed me to the first time to deliver on something. When I signed big deals with the likes of Disney and Amazon and AT&T and Dish, they never came to me and said like, you know what, Jacco, I signed up with you because you were a great negotiator. Your pitch was phenomenal like anyone else. That was not the reason why these companies bought from me. And I don't think that companies do business with people because they're great negotiators or they're great people who pitch. What I believe that I was fortunate to be exposed to is because I was helping customers solve their problem. So in today's world, that is all coming to a full closure. What I'm so passionate about in SaaS sales is that it actually only pays out if you have helped the customer solve the problem. What I would passionately like to deliver to you is focus on figuring out which customers have the problems that you can solve. Help them identify it. Provide the right insight. Set up a great conversation. Ask the right question. And if all that matches up, offer them the expertise that you have on how you can help them solve the problem. If you focus on just doing that, then you truly will become a successful SaaS company. Whether that is with 100 customers, 500 customers, and whether you'll be making $10 million or $100 million. The true success of SaaS lies in solving the problem that the customer has.
Fantastic. Thanks again for the great message and for the time to record this episode with us. We would like to special thanks also to Lincoln Murphy to making the connection, making this episode happen. So feel free to reach out, to visit Brazil. We live in Florianópolis. It's a very beautiful island. I don't know if you've been here.
Oh, I love it. I've been there many times. Well, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to the Brazilian SaaS community. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn. I'm looking forward to help, or maybe I can assist. If you have a quick question, I'm always welcome to help. And once again, thank you for having me. It was a true pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks. Have a very nice weekend. And thank you. Obrigado, pessoal. Aqui foi mais episódio do Cast for Closers com Jacco vanderKooij. I hope I spelled it right.
There you go. You did it right.
Yeah, okay. Have a nice weekend, Jacco. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.